When you become a creator, you think that gear is the most important thing ever.
Oh my god, I gotta get a Sony FX3. Holy crap, guys, I cannot shoot without a gimbal. That guy's rig is bigger than mine. How am I ever gonna shoot better than him?
Some cameras are objectively better than others. My Leica Q2 took better photos, had a better form factor, was easier to travel with, and did a lot more better than my other cameras. But none of that mattered. To be completely honest, there are a few people that I would recommend that camera to, and yes, that's including the Q3. Yes, it will make a huge difference in the work that you casual Instagram photographers put out, but let's be honest, do you remember what you posted 3 months ago? Instagram content has such a short shelf life, bro. And buying a $5,000 camera for Instagram is not a good decision. Your followers do not care at all. Am I happy that I had it when I met Gordon Ramsay? Yes. Am I happy that I had it for the first time that I went to a beach since I was a kid? Yes. But any camera could have taken that photo. But God forbid I only have 25 megapixels compared to the 47 that came in the Q2 so that I can post it on Instagram for people to see on their not even 4K phone screens. And then, you know, the social media apps that are going to even further compress all of your photos and videos that you share on them. Yes, Meta actually did admit to that. I made a video about falling in love with the Leica Q2. And at the time, the internet was saying it was one of the best cameras of all time. It's a name that's been around since the early 1900s with an emphasis on build quality and optics. And trust me, it shows. I have never used a digital camera that has just made everything outright look cinematic effortlessly. My main character syndrome comes from being the oldest sibling. That was totally a lie. It's because I carried around a camera that made me look like a main character all the time. I mean, look at me drinking coffee. It looks like a freaking movie. Or my boy Christian looking like a boss in Kansas City. Every single thing I shot looked like a movie. No autographs, please. One photo per person. Keep it moving. You know what things I think about when I buy gear? How much is it? What will I use it for? And does it bring enough to the table? I'ma be real. I grew up broke to be a broke adult. I cringe every time I have to pay my phone bill. So yeah, I really think about where every single dollar I have goes. Don't buy a ton of cheap stuff. Invest in quality when you can. This Shure MV7, that's like, $200, worth it. This iPhone 16 Pro Max with 1 terabyte of storage on it, worth the like $1,400. Nice photo camera with limited video capabilities. Is it worth the $5,000? For a photographer? Yes. For a YouTuber and just some guy that posts videos online? No. Content creators are notorious for getting this thing called gas. Yes, I consume dairy while being lactose intolerant, but that's not the kind we're talking about. We are referencing gear acquisition syndrome. You see this new thing and you think, wow, this is much nicer than my older yet totally capable thing. I must have it. Hey, bozo, there will always be a nicer camera. There will always be a nicer microphone, a nicer gimbal, a nicer set of lights. But what if I told you you don't need it? Don't go charging your card, just leave it in the cart. You don't need it. I replaced my Leica Q2 with a camera setup that's like a third of the cost with a Lumix S9. There's reflections. Lumix S9 is what I'm shooting on right now. I also bought an 18mm 1.8 lens with it. I didn't need a photo camera. I make videos. And I've even gotten to the point that on Instagram, I post video postcards instead of posting photos. Plus the S9 shoots open gate, so that means it shoots a square. So that way I can future-proof my content for both horizontal and vertical. It may not have the Leica look. It may not have a $5,000 lens on it. But what if I told you that it still shoots great video? This video that you're watching right now, it actually has my LUT and color grading applied to vlog footage. I don't even have to go in here into my laptop and edit that stuff. It just does it for me. It bakes it into the footage. Do you know how easy that is? And then I could just airdrop it over to my phone and I could just post it on social media immediately. Long story short, I thought that the Leica Q2 was a camera that I would really enjoy, and I did. But did I need it? No. But I do think we gotta talk about the cost. When I got the Q2, they were going for like $5,000. $5,000 can get me 2 of these S9 setups and then a plane ticket to LA so that I can chase my dreams of being an influencer. This thing has an interchangeable lens, and not to mention, I could have 2 of these and start a podcast and become a West Coast tech bro with a podcast called The Tech Bro Sermon. And $5,000 can actually buy my rig that I use for video production for my day job because I'm a freelancer. So I could buy the camera, I could buy the lens, I could buy a gimbal, I could buy lights, I could buy a good mic to go with it. $5,000 can get all of that. And that's stuff I can use to make more money. Even though I didn't buy mine for $5,000, I still felt like I had a lot of money tied up in one piece of gear. $5,000 on a setup makes sense, but $5,000 on one piece of gear, to me, just felt steep. Especially a piece of gear that had a very specific time and place that it could be beneficial. It was good for BTS photos, and it was good for just like everyday like fun stuff that I would shoot, but I never needed it. And since I felt like I had a lot of money tied up into it, I sold it. Would I buy it again? Honestly, no. I'll just buy a Q3 whenever I'm rich, or whatever Q is out whenever that happens. I don't see a need to have that. That's just my 2 cents. If I had to summarize this whole video into one sentence, the Q2 was fantastic. It is an amazing camera, and it does what it needs to do exceptionally well. But creators, don't buy gear that you don't need, that isn't bringing you as much value as possible. I love my S9. The only thing I hate is the recording limit, because I've actually had to chop this up because I yap for way too long. I think for most people, you're not going to run into a problem with that. But for me, like if I'm doing podcasts, if I'm doing this kind of, talking to you through this camera, it becomes a little more inconvenient, but whatever. Thanks for watching.